You sent the message 20 minutes ago. You saw the 2 blue check marks appear. You know they read it. And then nothing. No reply. No typing bubble. Just silence. And before your conscious mind has time to form a single rational thought, your body has already decided something is wrong. Your stomach tightens. Your breathing goes shallow. You reread the message, scanning every word for what you might have said wrong. You start constructing scenarios. She's upset. He's pulling away. Something happened and they're not telling me. All of this in less than 4 minutes of silence. You've probably been told this is anxiety or insecurity or that you're simply too sensitive. But what if none of that is accurate? What if this reaction is far older than your relationships, older than your childhood, older than language itself? Your nervous system is running a program that is 200,000 years old, and it was written for a world where silence didn't mean someone was busy. It meant something was about to kill you. If we placed your brain inside a scanner right now, at the exact moment someone you love goes quiet, we would see something extraordinary. The same neural alarm that fired in your ancestors when the jungle went silent is firing in you right now over an unread text message. This is brain scan number 1. Your body does not wait for you to think about danger. It detects danger automatically beneath conscious awareness. Dr. Stephen Porges, the neuroscientist who developed the polyvagal theory, gave this process a name, neuroception. Think of it as a biological radar scanning your environment for signals of safety and threat 24 hours a day, without your permission, without your knowledge, without a single conscious thought required. And one of the most ancient signals this radar uses to evaluate threat is the absence of sound. Imagine this. You are a human being walking across the African savanna at dusk, 200,000 years ago. For the last 10 minutes, birds have been calling, insects humming. The soundscape was alive, layered, breathing, and then silence, complete. The birds stopped. The insects went mute. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. That silence was not neutral. The bioacoustician Bernie Krause spent decades recording natural soundscapes and discovered something that indigenous cultures already knew. When the ambient sound of an ecosystem drops suddenly, a predator has entered the space. The prey animals go quiet first, then the birds, then the insects. By the time a human noticed the silence, the window for survival was already closing. The only human who survived that moment was the one whose body fired an alarm before the predator became visible. The ones who waited to confirm whether there was actually danger they were eaten. You are here today because your ancestors treated silence as a death sentence, and they were right to. But here's where the scan reveals something the textbooks don't tell you. Fast forward 200,000 years. You're sitting on the couch. Your partner comes home from work and doesn't say hello, doesn't smile, doesn't make eye contact, just walks past you in silence. And your nervous system fires the same cascade it fired on the savanna. Heart rate climbing, muscles bracing, attention narrowing. Not because your partner is a predator, but because your biological radar was never updated for the modern world. It cannot distinguish between the silence of a lion approaching through tall grass and the silence of someone who had a difficult day and needs 20 minutes alone. To your neuroception, silence is silence is silence. And silence has meant danger for longer than language has existed. But there is a deeper layer to this scan. Because evolution alone doesn't explain why some people react to silence with mild discomfort, while others spiral into full physiological alarm within seconds. To understand that, we need to go deeper, from biology into biography. Porges identified something beyond fight and flight. He found a third pathway in the human nervous system, the social engagement system, a ventral vagal circuit that regulates your sense of safety not through combat or escape, but through connection, voice, eye contact, facial expression, presence. When someone you trust looks at you and says everything is fine, this circuit activates and your entire system calms. Heart rate settles, breathing deepens, muscles release. But when that person goes silent, when the voice disappears, when the eyes won't meet yours, when the warmth drains from the room, the social engagement circuit loses its signal, and the two older circuits take over. The sympathetic system floods you with urgency, anxiety, restlessness, the overwhelming need to do something, say something, fix something, or the dorsal vagal system pulls you in the opposite direction, numbness, heaviness, the sensation of sinking, of shutting down. Which circuit activates depends on your history, and this is where the scan starts to feel personal. If you grew up in a home where silence meant something other than peace, silence before the eruption, silence as punishment, silence that meant you did something wrong and it's your job to figure out what, then the ancient radar didn't just remain intact, it was reinforced, trained, sharpened by repetition until it could detect the faintest trace of withdrawal from across a room. For you, silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the presence of every time silence came before pain. If what this scan is revealing about your own wiring feels like something you've carried your entire life but never had words for, subscribe to Quiet Psychology, because we're about to go deeper than most people are comfortable going. Here is where the progressive darkening begins, because this ancient alarm doesn't just live inside you quietly, it leaks. It seeps into the space between you and the people you love most, and it poisons things you never intended to damage. You are in a relationship with someone who simply needs space. She is introverted. He processes internally. This is healthy. This is normal. But your nervous system did not receive that information. To your neuroception, their silence registers as withdrawal. Withdrawal registers as threat. Threat registers as imminent abandonment. And then you react. You send the second message, the third. You ask, "Is everything okay?" For the 5th time in an hour. You show up at their door with an intensity that doesn't match the situation, because inside your body, the situation is a 5-alarm emergency. And the person who simply needed 20 minutes of quiet now feels suffocated, cornered, and they pull away. For real this time, the prophecy fulfills itself. Not because the danger was real, but because your reaction to imagined danger created the very thing you feared. And this is the part of the scan that most people aren't ready to see. When the anxiety becomes unbearable, when the vigilance exhausts itself, when the alarm has been ringing for so long that your system can no longer sustain it, your nervous system does something paradoxical. It goes silent. Porges calls this dorsal vagal shutdown. It is the oldest response, the most primitive, the reptilian play dead. You stop reaching out. You stop sending messages. You stop asking if everything is okay. You simply disconnect. And now the cycle closes with devastating symmetry. The person who lived in terror of silence becomes the silent one, and someone who loves that person begins to feel the same ancient alarm rising in their own chest. The loop passes from body to body, generation to generation, like a signal that never finds its off switch. So the question this scan reveals, the one perhaps no one has ever asked you directly, is this: is the silence that terrifies you in others the same silence you impose when the pain becomes too much to hold? Your radar is not broken. It is calibrated for a world that no longer exists. Every time you felt panic at someone's silence, it was not weakness. It was not neediness. It was not you being too much. It was your nervous system performing exactly the function it was designed for, keeping you alive. It simply doesn't know that the predators have changed, that the savanna is now a living room, that the most dangerous silence you will ever face is your own. Here is what recalibration looks like, not as a cure, but as a conversation between you and the ancient system that has been protecting you since before you had words. The first recalibration is the 90-second window. When someone's silence triggers your alarm, give your nervous system 90 seconds before you act. Place a hand on your chest, breathe, and say, internally, my body is reacting to an ancient silence, but I am safe right now. This person is not a predator. This room is not a savanna. 90 seconds. That is the time your prefrontal cortex needs to come back online and override the fear circuit. It will not erase the feeling, but it will create a gap, a small sacred gap between the alarm and your response. The second recalibration is learning the vocabulary of silence. Not all silence means the same thing. There is recharging silence. The person needs space. It is not about you. There is processing silence. They are digesting something internally and do not have words yet. And there is disconnection, silence. This one can signal a real relational rupture. But the difference is that disconnection, silence, comes with other signals. Physical withdrawal, pattern changes, consistent avoidance over time. Your nervous system treats all three as identical threats. Your work is to teach it to read the difference. The third recalibration is a script, 2 scripts actually, one for each side of the silence. If you are the one who panics when someone goes quiet, try saying this: I know you need space and I respect that, but my brain interprets silence as danger. If you could tell me I need some time, but we're okay, that changes everything for me. That single sentence gives your social engagement system the signal it's been desperately scanning for. If you are the one who goes silent, try saying this before you withdraw. I'm going to be quiet for a while. It's not about you. You didn't do anything wrong. I just need to process. I'll come back when I'm ready. 10 seconds. That is all it takes. 10 seconds to disarm an anxiety spiral that would have lasted hours. Imagine a soldier stationed at the edge of a village 200,000 years ago. His orders were simple: stay awake, watch the tree line. If the jungle goes quiet, sound the alarm. He obeyed. He watched. Every time silence fell over the landscape, he woke the village. And he saved lives, many times, faithfully, without question. But the war ended millennia ago. The village became a town, then a city, then an apartment with central heating and a lock on the door. The predators became unanswered text messages and partners who need space after a long day, and the soldier never received the order to stand down. He is still there, inside you, standing watch at a perimeter that no longer exists. And every silence, every pause, every unreturned call, every message left on read, he screams the only word he knows: danger. Not because he is broken, because no one ever looked him in the eye and said, thank you, you kept me alive for 200,000 years. But I can sit with the silence now. It is not always a threat. Sometimes it is just the sound of someone who needs a little space to love you better.